Who may be America's next top cop and who will serve as the country's next top spy? We're going to tackle that today. I'm Jenna, and this is Smarter News. This has been another busy news week, and there's no slowing down as we head towards inauguration. We're really barreling towards that moment. The reason why I continue to focus on the cabinet, the incoming cabinet, is because these are the likely leaders of important departments that can really impact our quality of life over the next several years. So I think it deserves a little bit of time. Before we jump into a look at the top positions of Attorney General and head of the CIA, I thought you might find this interesting. You know, the Constitution does not determine the number of cabinet members. Can sort of be whatever you want it to be. In our modern times, the cabinet has sat around 16 members. That includes the vice president and the heads of 15 executive departments. And then 10 others have been added with cabinet level positions like the director of national intelligence. But there's no exact number. There's zero specific qualifications. You don't need a college degree. You don't need a certain age or background. It's in the Constitution that the president can have these advisors of executive departments and that the Senate would have a role in confirming them. So there's a little check on that presidential power, but little else. So that's why I like reminding us that President George Washington just had 4 cabinet positions, because it hasn't always been this way. In fact, you can lose cabinet status. And I'm going to tell you more about that in just a moment. 2 of the names you have likely heard a lot about but haven't seen in front of a hearing this week include Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's been nominated for Secretary of Health and Human Services, and Tulsi Gabbard, who is nominated for Director of National Intelligence. Neither testified this week, so you didn't miss anything. Neither actually have a date to testify, and they will need to do this likely if they assume this next leadership position. Why haven't they testified? We really don't know. Sometimes this happens when there's some uncertainty around a potential pick, and sometimes it just happens due to procedure. You know, we hear that a lot. Oh, there's paperwork. You know, like you're sort of like, what sort of paperwork? But apparently there's some paperwork. And it's not just Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's not just Tulsi Gabbard. There's also names like Linda McMahon, who is nominated for the Secretary of Education, who also doesn't have a hearing date set. So TBD, but we're certainly watching this. So we have 2 very different hearings in front of us in this report, one very contentious and one very cloudy. The contentious hearing was for the nominee for Attorney General, Pam Bondi. The cloudy, mysterious hearing was for the head of the CIA. So let's start with Attorney General. By the way, why do we call it Attorney General? It's kind of a weird title, isn't it? It would actually make more sense to say General Attorney, not like general like a military, but general like far-reaching. The Attorney General leads the Justice Department and serves as a top law enforcement official and also advisor to the president. The hot topic here for AG was this phrase that you've likely heard a lot over the last several years, and that was the weaponization of the Justice Department, using the law to force a political agenda or imprison political rivals. Republicans say that's what Democrats have done in recent years in prosecuting President-elect Trump. Democrats say that's what Republicans are gonna do. Here's one exchange that's getting a lot of attention, particularly about this topic, between the Attorney General nominee, Pam Bondi, and Senator Adam Schiff, a Democrat from California.
The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one
Based
has
on
asked
what you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a
The
hypothetical.
president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called.
also
The
worried about
president.
Liz Cheney,
The
Senator.
president has
You know what
called
we
for
should
this.
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
The
please
crime rate
answer
in
my
California
questions.
right now
You
is
are
through
aware,
the roof.
Ms. Bondi.
Your robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question
be
is
focused
this.
on, Senator.
Do you have the
if I'm
power to
confirmed
say
as
no to the
Attorney
president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president.
As you can hear, Pam Bondi denied throughout this hearing that she will act in favor of the president or politics and wants to bring a feeling of independence back to the department. Democrats remain skeptical, and that's all we know for now. Our next hearing, the top spy, the head of the CIA. I called it cloudy or opaque because as top spy, you can't really say a lot on the record. That's kind of the whole point. Former Congressman and former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe is up for this post. And there's 2 takeaways here after listening to this hearing. One is, although he said very little on the record, he was super clear about the threat of China. and very clear that the CIA would not just be about intel gathering, but also going a little bit on the offense and having the capabilities to do so. For example, having ways to respond to China's nefarious hack attacks. So this hearing continued in a classified setting, which was probably a little bit more juicy or juicier than what we got. But here's a segment of John Ratcliffe's opening statement that gives you some insight into his posture.
We will collect intelligence, especially human intelligence, in every corner of the globe, no matter how dark or difficult. We will produce insightful, objective, all-source analysis, never allowing political or personal biases to cloud our judgment or infect our products. We will conduct covert action at the direction of the President, going places no one else can go and doing things no one else can do. To the brave CIA officers listening around the world, if all of this sounds like what you signed up for, then buckle up and get ready to make a difference. If it doesn't, then it's time to find a new line of work.
So one of the things both of these hearings have in common is a return to a more fundamental approach. The CIA is going to spy. The Justice Department is going to patrol and prosecute. That's what's said. We're going to see if that's what happens. So what department lost its cabinet position? The Post Office. The Post Office Department. That's what it used to be called. And it used to be a cabinet level department until the 1970s. And as I discovered, losing that status is like a whole other story that we're going to need to explore a little bit, and we don't have time for that today. But maybe this is a reminder that writing letters never goes out of style. But perhaps your cabinet level position does. So we're giving you a little news today and a reminder that maybe we should all get crazy and write some letters this weekend. It's kind of a nice thing to do. We got a lot of big news next week, so maybe we need to take a little pause and do that. It always feels good to get a letter, not a bill in the mail, but a letter. A letter is nice. We're going to be here for you through the inauguration and everything that happens after it. And I'm looking forward to that. If you like these quick hits, definitely let us know. We've liked putting them together for you this week, and we hope it is serving you and helping free up some of your time. So thanks for your support of quick, concise, nonpartisan news, smarter news. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll talk to you soon.